get started right away, accept the fact that you're going to fail. And just accept the fact that it's going to be really fucking hard.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the Deaf Device podcast. Today, I have Kelley Thornton, founder of Tiege Hanley. Welcome, Kelley.
Hello, Dano, and thank you for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. You're calling from the other side of the planet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's a city called Chicago, is that right?
That's right. I'm getting ready for dinner and you're getting ready for breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast is still far away here. Yeah, it's kind of 6:15 in the morning.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what it is. But luckily, we have this thing called internet. Cool. Yeah, I invited you to join my podcast because I saw like you're doing amazing things with your online brand called Tiege.
Yep.
And I can only imagine what it takes to build a brand like this. So, but first of all, let us know, what is this business about?
We're a men's skincare business. So we're all about trying to help men look and feel amazing. The way we do it is we create very, very high quality skincare products. We do it and focus on a routine because we think it's really important that men have healthy routines. We focus, our products are geared towards the men in the world. Nothing wrong with women's skincare, but we really focus on men. And we put it in a box, a routine in a box, and we send it to our hundreds and hundreds of thousands of customers all around the world. And we are known for creating healthy skincare routines for men. We started in 2016, and we've reached many of great milestones over the last several years, and we're here in 24 looking to kick some ass.
Wow, that sounds impressive. Skincare routines for men. That is the first time I hear about this kind of business model, but it does make a lot of sense. I mean, look at your skin. It seems to be working.
A little tired today. Yours looks better, and you just got up. I'm feeling a little tired. But thank you.
Man, it's just about my face light. You know, I think that's what makes the only difference here. But yeah, I mean, so you built a brand for skincare for guys, and you're shipping all over the planet. So your assistant promised to send me a box, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I was surprised that when I said, well, but I'm in Malaysia, she said, no problem. So you guys like ship like literally all across the planet.
Yeah, we've gotten really good at shipping around the world. I don't know. I know that she was tracking your box, but like, for instance, we ship from Chicago to almost everywhere in Europe in about 5 days. So the European consumer, for the most part, is getting their monthly subscription box, or you can buy our products just whenever you feel like it, but they're getting them in 5 to 7 days. In the US, our average is about 4 days. We're always looking to shrink that gap. Of course, Amazon's putting a lot of pressure on all us DTC brands, as I know because you have expert experience in Amazon. So, yep, we're shipping all around the world. I mean, there's some places we can't get our boxes to, but it works pretty well for us.
Mm-hmm. And do you do that by having the third-party logistics, like warehousing in other countries, or everything ships from the US?
Everything ships from the US, but our business has gotten enough scale that we really do need. I am looking for a very, very unique partnerships in certain parts of the world where they actually have a good handle on local distribution. So that's a 2024 initiative for us. We really just want to get our product into the hands of our guys as quickly as possible. We know that's important to them, so we're working on that.
Yeah, I cannot wait, man. I'm already very impatient to get your product in my hands. Yeah, that sounds amazing. What brought you into this business? Do you have like a skincare cosmetics background or something?
Ironically, I don't. Like all entrepreneurs, I'm a very big dreamer. I have a lot of ideas. I have many ideas, and some of them I've brought to fruition, others I haven't. But I really spent, as we were speaking earlier, Dano, I've really spent a lot of time. I've been fortunate to spend a lot of time traveling around the world, a lot, mainly for business. And skincare is something that really is important to many men around the world. Here we've got the Marlboro man, right? The smoking cowboy, and we're kind of guerrilla style, you know, flannel shirt wearing, dungaree wearing, blue jean wearing guys here in the U.S. And most of us never really thought twice about taking care of our skin or why that's even important. But a lot of men around the world have kind of figured it out. We're a little bit behind the times here, especially where you are in Asia. There's a lot of coming out of Korea and Thailand and Hong Kong and Taiwan, Philippines. There's people understand the importance of health, and we put ourselves into health. I mean, you're in the sun a lot, right? I mean, it's really important, regardless of what you're doing, whether or not you're outside actually, playing tennis or golf or swimming. That's important time to have a sun protection product on your skin, especially guys like us that don't have too much up top. We're either wearing, we better be wearing a hat, right? But if not, we better be wearing something that's protecting our skin. And, the women have known this forever, right? And it's frustrated guys, but women have known it forever that if you do take care of your skin, results are last for a long time. So we're just catching up, and we at Tiege Hanley, we make a really, really good product. So when men start using our product, they see it, they notice a difference. They notice their skin looks better, and it's very typical for our guys to get compliments from their wives, significant other, girlfriends, or family. Like, what are you doing to yourself? Did you get your hair cut? Like, so you look a little different. Well, I'm just taking care of myself a little bit. And so anyway, I notice this trend around the world, and I feel like it not only were men in other places outside of the US and Europe thinking about skincare, but we as men, we need to be thinking about taking care of ourselves. That's an important thing. Whether or not using skincare or not, taking care of yourself is critical. Mentally, physically taking care of yourself. So we're talking about that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a very good topic. And yeah, I mean, I'm just learning a lot for myself because skincare is not on my radar, and I guess it should be.
It's an easy thing. You're brushing your teeth in the morning. You have a routine. You wake up and you just need to, wash your face. I mean, in the morning, it's really important. You have a lot of sebum and oil on your face. You need to wash your face, and you need to put a moisturizer on that has a little bit of an SPF. And if you're just going down the street to the coffee place, and then we have like our SPF is SPF 20. It's like perfect. You're going to the office, you're perfect. You're good. And then at night you're doing the same thing. So you're washing your face, brushing your teeth, you're putting a moisturizer on. And so when you rest at night, your skin has a chance to repair itself. And if you just do that, I mean, we throw an exfoliating scrub in our system. So twice a week, you do scrub day. I keep mine in my shower. And on Wednesdays and Sundays, I exfoliate my face. That's all. If you could just get that going, your skin is going to look 90% better, and you're going to protect against the harmful rays. So that's all that's what we're working on right there. We can go deeper, but that's what we're working on.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, I have a good idea what you're doing now, and looks like your business is thriving. And congratulations to be in that fantastic place. Which makes me even more curious about how did you get there, Kelley?
Yeah.
What was it? What was 10-year-old Kelley about, and how did he become the Kelley he is today?
Well, I think, Dano, that I can tell you this. It has not been a straight path. There's no such thing as a straight line to success. It has been anything but a straight line to success. This is my third business, and that I started. I started one while I was in college to help me pay for my college. And then I was in corporate world for 18 years. And I started another business. I had almost 10 years. We were talking about it briefly before. But when I was a youngster, I grew up in Maryland, which is, for all you people listening, that's not geographically inclined with the U.S. It's on the coast over by Washington D.C., kind of sandwiched between Washington D.C. and Philadelphia. Maryland's a beautiful part of the country. It's somewhat considered like middle between South and Northern U.S. So it has a nice blend of friendly South, hospitality, and Northern competitive, mentality that you get in New York, et cetera, New Jersey and New York. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time, and I think it's kind of unfortunate. I don't see it happening where I live, but I spent a lot of time in competitive things, socializing with other boys, obviously, girls at a later on, but my 10-year-old self, it was a lot of everything. So it was a lot of fishing, a lot of swimming, a lot of tennis, a lot of sports. We were always playing sports, and it was a lot of hiking and biking and, you name it. And we kind of rolled with the seasons, meaning, again, in the US, the fall is kind of football season. We'd roll into football season, and we'd pretty much every day of the week, we'd have guys in the neighborhood. There was kind of two sides of the neighborhood. We were always playing each other in football. We met in the middle in someone's yard that was in the middle. And so I grew up, I would say very competitive. And then I played organized sports. So I think that creates tremendous structure. Like sports, we were talking about rules earlier too. There's a lot of negotiation, right? Like, did he catch that pass? He didn't catch that pass. Honesty, trust, having trust in your teammates, wanting to win, a winner and a loser, the bad guys on the other side of the neighborhood and the good guys on this side of the neighborhood. So this whole concept of rivalry and winning and competitiveness and rules really drove the early Kelley. And so I spent a lot of time doing that, and we went from, one sport into the next sport into the next sport. It was a constant rotation of that. I tell you some other things too that I just recently been thinking about in the 10-year-old Kelley's mind. We actually did a lot of social things, social justice. We donated our time. It was specifically through one of my friend's fathers, who was a doctor, actually from Asia, originally from the Philippines. And he took us to a lot of, he belonged to like a men's club, a social men's club that was like focused on giving back in the community. So we would, push people around in wheelchairs at, baseball games. And we would do a lot of these kind of social things. I mean, not like crazy amount, but like, every couple of times, 3-4 times a year. And so I think like there was some level of like social awareness built into me early on. So 10-year-old Kelley, very competitive, a bit of social awareness, living a fairly structured life. And then the last thing I'll sprinkle in is I came from a divorced family. So my mother had me very busy. My mother had me like really doing a lot of stuff and a lot of chores. She was very wise because she knew that if she kept me extremely busy, I'd likely not get into as much trouble as I was capable of. So that was what it looked like early on.
All right. So she saw the potential for trouble right there.
You bet. You bet.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a very intense and very active childhood where I guess you learned a lot about humans and socializing and interaction and all that. So when would you say your entrepreneurial career kicked off? when do you kind of make this call of, I want to start a business, I want to do something, I want to build something?
Well, I think early on, I was very much a doer. So I was very much like a do things, like get things done. So very early on, I was very like driven to get things, like to accomplish things, right? And I would gamify a lot of things. So I was very like driven to accomplish things. A lot of these tasks that I was talking about, like we had a lot of leaves that fell in the fall. So like we had a pretty big yard. So like, clean the leaves every week, do this half of the yard today, this half of the yard. So I was very driven, very oriented towards getting tasks done. And then I also felt like, I had like a pretty strong drive towards leadership. And it wasn't like arrogance or anything like that. It was just, I think a lot of my friends would rely on me to do something. Right. And we all know what this is like. We were either that person in our friend group, or we had other friends that were that person. So that the person that organized things. So Dano, we're going to go play football on Saturday over at Jimmy's house. You're going to make it? Good. I can count on you. Bring your brother. Is your brother coming? Good. Okay, we got it. All right, Dano and his brother's coming. We're going to be down at Jim. So that type of coordination thing. So I was always very task and driven and motivated to accomplish stuff. And I had this, sense of leadership and organization. So I think that was like really, those skills were really competitiveness, driven, leadership. I think were pretty early on. I don't know where they came from. They just appeared.
Oh, all right. It's I think it's a kind of a DNA thing. Yeah, I can relate to that. So I call this my authority allergy. I was not very good at following, things that I should be doing, which especially if I didn't agree. And so you were like a natural born leader, and then you started kind of implementing this into your work life, I guess.
Correct.
Which eventually brought you to this place where you are today. And how did this manifest? I mean, how does a football guy become, the founder of a men's beauty brand?
Yeah. Well, when I was so I think there's one more little spice or component to this. I was very motivated early on by money. I mean, that was like a very strong motivational force to me. I think it was because my parents were divorced, but I grew up in the 70s. So, this whole like cigarette smoking, driving in the convertible Mustang, Mercedes. I mean, this whole image of success and wealth and money was really like super dominant in my childhood and themes in my childhood. Right. So I think like those things, when I got to college, I was really motivated, or like when I got to high school and into college, I was really motivated to make money. Like I really understood the value of, if I do these things, then I can have some cash. And then I realized very quickly, because I did the same thing we all do, worked in restaurants and et cetera, and work for other people. I realized that I could make more money, like if I had my own business. But it was a lot of extra work, but I could make more money. So I was really motivated by that. And then my father wasn't very interested in paying for my education, my university education. He was like, you want to go to university? It's fine. I'll kick in a little bit, but you're going to pay for it. So all those things together led me to start my first business. And I started a painting company, and I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was able, and I hired all my friends, and then I just took as much work as I could get, which didn't stop. I lived in New England. I moved from Maryland to New England. There was, everybody's having their house painted in the winter. In the summer, and it was very tough winters up there. So they always needed maintenance. So that's where I got the taste for entrepreneurship. I was really, really interested in making money. And I really realized that if I went out there and did extra stuff myself, organized people like the way I organized them for football in the neighborhood, I could get a bunch of guys and girls together, and we could go out and paint houses and charge thousands of dollars, and I could make more money than I did in the restaurant. And like, hey, this is pretty good. And then I went 18 years in the corporate, and it pretty much the same thing happened. I was a highly compensated salesperson for the company I work for. I was very, very highly compensated. I do like sales, I don't like it anymore for me, but I think it's a good path. If people are one path, if they're interested in being financially successful, you can be very successful there. But then I realized the exact same thing. Like and I actually got deep enough into my career that I could actually look at the P&L, and I could look at my contribution dollars, and I could look at, really have an understanding of COGS and some of the below the line costs and my sales and the contribution of my sales, and then the overall corporate health. And I was like, I got to do this for myself, because I'm making these company too much money, and they want to pay me less every year. And there's a lot of other people that aren't towing the rope, meaning I was contributing more dollars to the company than in most of the other people. And I was looking and I was saying that, like, these guys are like sitting on their asses, and so I got to do this for myself. So then I started my next company. And that was a global design and strategy company. Again, that's where I started really traveling with my clients around the world, trying to understand the psychology of a shopper and implement strategies for my customers. Were global brands, global consumer product good companies. And I was trying to help them figure out how to win more sales at retail, and beat their competition. So what motivates you to buy a Dove shampoo versus, something else, some other competitor? So really, and then that led me to understand that skincare just is a huge opportunity, and I need to try to. And wellness was a big deal too. I had a lot of pharma customers, pharmaceutical OTC pharma customers. So you have allergies, selling allergy medicine and aspirin and vitamins and all this stuff. And so they were really talking about wellness as like a major thing. So I really was connected kind of wellness and skincare together.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But it was, when you were a salesman, were you already kind of involved with this kind of clientele, with these kind of businesses that you then suddenly started to be a consultant for? Because this is, nobody just hires you as a consultant unless, you have a lot to show for, right?
So that's exactly correct. My clients were, so the people that I was working for 18 years, I like your point here. The people I was working for, my clients over that 18-year period of time, became my clients when I started my second business, my global design and consulting company. A lot of those customers, I was in a slightly different business. We were originally, when I was in corporate, we were designing and manufacturing a product. And then I ended up consulting on the product that we were manufacturing. And those contacts stayed with me and helped me grow my business. The power of networking is just beyond belief.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. And but that's an amazing story, and it all makes so much sense. You become the sales guy who is already dealing with these people, and then you kind of just evolve into the next stage of your life where you're taking care of these people themselves, yourself. And then you see this gap in the market for men's skincare, which, I must admit, it was never on my radar. So it's just by talking to you and learning about it so much, and it works. So that's fantastic.
Yep.
This is the one of these amazing entrepreneur stories, and one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast, because I really love to hear this stuff which you normally cannot read on the about page.
No,
Yeah.
it's really been like, an amazing journey, and everything I've done up to this point has helped me prepare to the extent that it can. And, I really think like some of those other things were like the minor leagues, and as an entrepreneur, I'm more, I'm very senior, right? I'm 30 years into my career. When you're 30 years into your career, a lot of people aren't interested in taking a lot of risk. And entrepreneurship equals risk, right? So,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like to take risk at all, especially when they get older. I mean, and they have a lot of responsibilities. So, they say it's a young man's game, but I've been fortunate that I've been able to apply a lot of the skills that I learned along the way.
Yeah, I think so. We both have been fortunate in this way. And I see on the other side people who are on the safety side. They look at retirement, at pension, at all these kind of things which are really not on my radar at all. I mean, I don't see myself retire and I don't know, do what. So
yeah, I don't think, right,
curious.
there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I think that traditional lifestyle works really well for people. Like you said earlier in the show, it's what's in my DNA. I mean, other people have different DNA, and that's a great thing. They like the security of a job, and they're motivated differently, and they like corporate environment or whatever the case may be, and I think that's great. It's just not the path that I chose.
Yeah.
Or you chose.
Yeah, right. Different DNA. But I also feel that, if it's in our human DNA to do something, to kind of grow in some kind of sense, it could be all kind of different ways. But I think we still need kind of to live an active life to some extent, and maybe also to take some risks and some challenges in order to be alive. The other side of it to me is not really being alive, but that's just me, maybe.
Well, I love that, right? That's a philosophy. I couldn't agree with you more, right? What is our purpose in life? What is our passion? What are we trying to do?
Yeah.
I try to inculcate that into the way my children think and my team thinks every day. We're not here to be average. We're here to kick ass.
Yeah. And we don't grow in our comfort zone. Mr. High shared this wisdom with me. It was one of his main topics to say, like, when you're comfortable, that's good, but you don't grow. We grow outside our comfort zone.
Love it.
But yeah, we're getting pretty philosophical here. So at this point, I would just like to invite you to share those lessons and those nuggets of wisdom that you have collected along your path, and the things that you would share. I mean, you would tell 10-year-old Kelley today, or another entrepreneur who is now starting his journey. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, there's my best piece of advice is you got to do it right away. Just get going on it. Get started on it. You'll learn along the way, and actually, hopefully, you'll fail because it's failure that makes us better. And so you'll get started right away. Accept the fact that you're going to fail, and just accept the fact that it's going to be really fucking hard. Like, it is not going to be easy. There's no way, shape, or form it's going to be easy. You might hit some paths, some patches in your career that, like, things are going really well for you, and that'll happen. But inevitably, you're going to hit some really rough patches as well, where you're going to get kicked in the teeth a lot. And sometimes when you get into those, patches of your career, sometimes you get kicked in the teeth for a long time. Like it can stick around for years. So you really just need to push through it. So get started right away. It's not going to be easy. Hopefully you fail and you learn from it and you stick with it and you realize there's going to be good times and bad. And so, it's entrepreneurship is not for the weak of mind or heart. You got to be into it 100%. However, we are, as you said, Dana, we're a special breed, and there's great pleasure in accomplishing something for yourself and for other people that are part of your journey.
Amen to that, man. That was fantastic. Yeah, I think I have goosebumps right now, but I think you really put it all together. That really matters to be an entrepreneur. Failure is a part of it, but I like to change the perspective on failure as learning, and that way it becomes a bit less brutal, because we just have to understand that if in order to learn we have to fail, because that's how we know what not to do.
Yeah.
And it's just inevitable. So don't try to avoid failure. It's part of the journey. And yes, then there will be some sweet spots, which we call success.
That's right.
Cool, man. That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom with us. I feel like I'm speaking to a guru right here. And
right back at you.
Yeah. And thanks to all our listeners who are still with us here. We will make sure that we leave the contact details below the video in the description so people can reach out to you, and definitely find your store where they can order, some of your good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if you are interested in asking me any questions, you can reach me on LinkedIn, Kelley Thornton on LinkedIn.
Cool.
And I respond to most people there. If you want to think about how you can reverse or prevent some of the signs of aging and take care of your skin and prevent from getting skin cancer, check out our products at tiege.com, tiege.com, tiege.com. And, we'd love to get your feedback and tell us about your experience with our products, just as you mentioned, Dano. We'd love to get your feedback and figure out how to make it even better for our customers.
Fantastic. All these links will be below the video. Thank you so much, Kelley.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful day, and even more success and maybe a little bit of failure moving forward with your business journey. I would say, terima kasih, as we say here in Malaysia. Thank you very much. And until the next time.
Thank you.